Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Friday, July the 28th, race number 6 at Del Mar, 7 furlong stakes action, the Real Good Deal Stakes for 3-year-old Cowbreds. Let's take a peek at this field. Evenly matched bunch, I think. The 6 Ann Arbor Eddie looks like the horse to beat. He's really done some good work, and he got back on the beam last time out at Los Al.
Earned a 92 buyer in his first start in a number of months, but you mentioned it, even as a 2-year-old, he faced some of the best of the best. You go through and you see Mastery's name in there. I think there's a lot of things to like here, not just the obvious with the fig, but I suppose you can look at it and say, Los Alamitos can be a little bit quirky, and if you don't entirely buy into the fig, then maybe he's a vulnerable favorite. But I think he's the horse to beat.
Yeah, it was nice to see. Doug O'Neill gave him a little bit of a break after they ran him in the San Felipe and the El Camino Real Derby. 2 races where A, he was in too tough, and B, the distance was a little bit too far. This horse is at his best up to a mile. He had a really nice trip last time at Los Al, tracking 3 wide, but really finished it in comfortable fashion. He's the horse to beat and is likely to get a similar trip. He's going to lug a lot of weight, 125.
Yeah, the interesting thing was in that Los Alamitos race, it's worth noting, Los Al generally you want to be outside. He was 3-4 path throughout, pressing the pace, and he did pop back to his left lead late, but if you go back and watch the replay, you can pull it up in Formulator. His ears were up at the end. I think he was just getting a little bit goofy out there.
Remember to head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us. Down towards the rail is the number 1, Fly to Mars. Fly to Mars had some issues last time out, saddle slip, etc. He showed some speed in that race at Los Al. He can rate. It'll be very interesting to see how young Evan Roman plays this from the break from the inside. Yeah,
I have to be honest, I don't really understand the horse. I think you're going to need to have just some drastic improvement, and I don't want to find out even at a big number. I would imagine he's going to be in that 15, 20 to 1 range. This is an ambitious spot even for someone like Peter Miller.
Does have Peter Miller, though, and here's the Formulator fact for the 1, Fly to Mars. The past 2 years, 3-year-old dirt sprinters making the 3rd start off a layoff of more than 45 days. 25%, a 272 ROI, 15 to 1 on the morning line for Fly to Mars. The 2 is Elwood J, a horse moving from turf to dirt. He has won both of his wins have come on dirt, but his best figs have come on turf.
I think he's a turf horse. I don't think he's a dirt horse. And like you say, I understand he's only won 2 times, and they both happen to be on dirt. I think his best races by far have been turf. I don't want him in here.
Does his speed play on dirt? Because you and I were talking before we came on, and we mentioned Elwood J might be at his best when he grabs the early lead, and he has shown speed in his most recent route races on turf. Are you concerned that those races have sort of sapped his sprint gas?
Yes, his only 2 victories have come outright on the lead. I don't envision a scenario where he's fast enough to make the front because, like you said, that turn back, that's going to dull that a little bit.
Now, the number 3, Dr. Troutman's going to add blinkers. His only lifetime win has come on turf. He has tried some of these horses in the past on dirt, and it hasn't worked out. This horse looks like a big-priced long shot.
Yeah, I think he's a middling turf horse at best, and the connection's just taking a shot.
The number 4 is Edwards Going Left, and John Sadler took this one for $50,000 out of his career debut, took the blinkers off, and this horse has run very well in all 3 starts for Sadler. He's given him just sort of incremental hikes up the class ladder. Most recently, he beat Calbred non-winners of 1. Now, he was 1 to 2 that day, and when you watch the race in the stretch, you're like, boy, he had to work for a 1 to 2 shot. My argument, Matt, is that the trip didn't exactly work out because he was a little sluggish coming out of the gate. He was rushed up on the outside. Tyler Bay said, listen, I don't want any traffic problems. I'm taking him 4 wide. I'm going up to push this pace. He was in the 4 path throughout. He had to work hard in the lane. I think this horse with an alert break can be forward.
Yeah, and that's going to be the most interesting thing is to find out, was that just sort of an aberration? Was that just one of those instances where he was just a little bit dull and didn't get out of the gate? Because if he spots this field, a half length even, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. You don't want, it's one thing to be chasing a group of Calbred, optional claimers, low level. It's another thing to be chasing a couple of pretty decent horses.
Well, let's see what the Timeform US Pace Projector has in store for the Real Good Deal. And they have Edwards Going Left on the lead, and that blue bar notes that this race could favor horses on or near the early lead. I wouldn't be surprised if the pace is slightly faster.
Slightly faster, and I also wouldn't be surprised. The interesting thing is you've got a lot of horses that have a little bit of versatility in this race, where you've only got 1 or 2 that are true speedballs that need to go. I wouldn't be surprised if you took any 2 or 3 of those top 4 or 5 and just kind of mixed them around, because Depending on how they break, I wouldn't be surprised if Ann Arbor goes right to the front.
It wouldn't be surprising. Mario Gutierrez can be aggressive coming out of there. Ann Arbor has got that tactical speed. Milton Freewater does not. He is basically a one-run closer, especially considering he's cutting back a quarter mile after running on turf and just draw a line through the Snow Chief race. That just seemed like an experiment that didn't work out. His prior effort against some good open non-winners of one other than at a mile and a 16th, that was a nice solid performance, resulting in this horse's career best Beyer, and my gut feeling is he's a closing sprinter at heart.
I agree with that. To me, he's the sneaky one in here, where if he gets the pace early on, he's going to be running late. You look at what he's done on dirt. He may not be sexy right now, but he's done some good things, and I agree with you. I think 7/8 of a mile or a one-turn mile is really what he wants coming from off the pace. The biggest concern is, does he get the pace? Because if the blue bar is accurate with the Timeform US pace projector, he's probably going to be up against it.
Well, let's take a look at our top selections for this year's Real Good Deal. And one of your favorite Calbreds is the number 7, Mr. Hinks. And he's finally getting back to what he wants to do, and that's sprinting on the dirt. This is a talented gelding.
He's got a little bit of versatility. You can just take a look at the career box. He's 2 for 3 on turf. He's 2 for 4 on dirt. He's also 1 on a wet track. It's interesting for me, though, that you go through and you look. The only 2 times that he's sprinted on dirt, he's 2 for 2. Now, that one, you go back to the Echo Eddie, he's a stakes winner already. He popped back to his left lead late, but boy, we talked about it. He had to dig in hard there, and he fended off. He was early on in a pace duel, and he held off one of the other horses that was sitting just off. I thought it was a good effort. I'm a little bit unsure about the distance. I think he can get it, but I don't know that this is his ideal number. I think he's probably better 6, 6.5, but I've just always liked him. And I think Flavian Pratt, he's got a bunch of options. If he breaks sharp, you can go on with him. If he doesn't, you can sit just off. That outside post, I'm sure they would like to just press the pace, but if it's given to you, take it.
That's the beauty of the outside post. It gives this jock plenty of options. I'm assuming they're going to break. Take a look inside, see what Ann Arbor does. See if Edwards Going Left's a little bit slow out of there. Take what they give you, because this horse, as you mentioned, does have the versatility. And he's got a lot of guts. That Echo Eddie, you were right. He was battling 4 or 5 other horses early in between, and he just kept going in the stretch. A very game effort. 3 to 1 on the morning line for Mr. Hinks. You're going 7, 6, 5, 4. I'm hoping that Edwards Going Left keeps going the right way for John Sadler. I want to go against these connections right now.
True enough.
He's seeking his 3rd straight win. The Beyer 2-back, albeit on a wet track. Fast enough to be among the top contenders in this race. And I think that trip didn't really work out for him. He's supposed to win at 1 to 2, but I didn't think it really worked out once he kind of missed the break. I'm curious to see what we get from the 4, Edwards Going Left. 4, 6, 7, 5 for me in the Real Good Deal Stakes. If you are playing the Friday Del Mar card from home, only one way to go. DRF Bets, because when you sign up to DRF Bets right now at drf.com/take10, you get a 10% win place takeout on 10 tracks, including Del Mar, plus a $300 cash bonus. Approximate post time for the Real Good Deal. Race number 6 at Del Mar on Friday, 6:30 Pacific. Best of luck.